I can see we're all three here, so check on that. Next is the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Next is approval of the agenda for this evening's meeting. So, I emailed earlier and you all have printed copies. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Approved.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there support?
Yeah, I support. Okay.
A motion and support to approve the agenda as presented. Any additions, corrections, or changes? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the minutes from the May 4th meeting, which also you should all have. Any corrections, discussion, comments on the minutes?
Spelled everybody's name correctly?
That's good.
Yeah.
Then I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented for the May 4th, 2026 regular PEG meeting.
I motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there support?
Support.
We have a motion and support to approve the minutes as presented from the May 4th, 2026 meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Public comment. I'm assuming you don't have anything to say now. We'll be able to talk in a little bit. Thanks, Sandy. Correspondence, I have nothing. Director's report, I maybe should just remove that since it's redundant with what we talk about under old business. So actually I won't say anything now, and I'll just go into old business. And the first item under old business is the charter spectrum status. So
Saga continues.
it does. I'm now frustrated with a large company that moves incredibly slow. As I reported last meeting, we had just gotten the fiber line installed and the equipment installed, and then there was going to be the 72-hour test. We haven't started the 72-hour test yet. So basically the way it works is I email them, and then sometimes I'll get a response in a day. Sometimes I'll get a response 3 weeks later after 2 or 3 more emails. And so far each time it's been, oh, it's not working. We're not really sure why. Can you try this? So a week ago Friday, so that's 10 days ago, I pinged them again saying, what's the status? And they responded, we can't remotely log into the system. Can you go over and reboot it? This was like 5 o'clock Friday night, so by the time I could have gotten over there, it would have been too late. So I went over Saturday morning, did that, told them about it, and then had crickets, nothing. So today I pinged them again saying, did this resolve the problem? And so we're close, but it's moving.
Is there any leverage, and I don't mean leverage like,
Yeah, I know.
you know, city manager calling somebody, because ultimately they're not being good stewards of the customer or the tax or the bill payer, which it is a tax, right? Or it's a fee. Is there anything you?
Oh, but the fee goes to us.
Right.
To them. So
Right.
they look at it as purely a
Right.
cost center, not.
But it makes us look bad, us being,
Yes, which is what they're hoping for, because they would prefer we went away, because, again, it's a cost center for them. They make no revenue from it, so therefore they have
right,
minimal incentive.
right,
But
absolutely.
it is a call from the city manager might, it would generate a response. I'm not sure it would speed things up, because generally in situations like that, there are people whose jobs in a company like that is to respond to people who are,
Right.
and tell them the right things.
And it's governed by like state licensing, I'm guessing, probably.
Yes, the franchise agreement is with the state. Historically, it was each community had an agreement with, and there still is an agreement, but that's really more of an asset agreement, because they have the right to use utility poles and right-of-ways in the city to do things. So there is an agreement, but the master is at the state level.
And you know the commission that the state, is it like the state telecommunications?
I don't know, actually.
Just, okay. Just thinking out loud.
I'm personally willing to give it another month, and then I think if there isn't,
Call your legislature.
then it's, well, I think it is reaching out to the city manager to put in a call, and then, seeing what else we could do possibly.
I'm really surprised no one's calling them locally that's paying the 13 cents.
There are some. I mean, I got a
Yeah.
inquiry from Tom, kind of asking status, because someone had gotten routed to him that was asking. So there are people that are asking, but
Yeah,
Yeah, periodically I do get a phone call and people are looking, hey, what's going on? So,
yeah.
so it is wanted by a certain, amount of people.
Keep raising their rates.
So that's unfortunately the status. So next is new website, and we have Andy here. So, and I suspect you have some things to share with us.
Oh, earlier today.
It sounded like it worked conveniently that we delayed our meeting a week so that you had more time.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah, that worked out great. So I appreciate that it happened this way.
That my vacation actually caused that to work.
I'm following along on my phone, not being on my phone.
All right.
The links you sent.
Yeah, it was shortly after that email you sent. I had sent out an email with links. So I guess I don't know what the best way to do that. I mean, I have it on here, and there's also those links in those emails. So either you can pull it up that way, or how would you like to do that?
I actually didn't bring my phone. Is there a way that we can?
There's, if you actually do it on the laptop over there.
Oh, yeah.
On that screen and in our screens in front of us.
That would be awesome.
That is probably the best thing to do. So,
Oh, do I need
no, I don't think we need, it's in Tom's hands to get this all set. So Tom, I hope I'm not putting too much pressure on you to get this working, because we've not done this before. Maybe we did
We
once.
did, yeah.
Having trouble locating the password, which is typically on a sticky note.
Want to knock out charter programming while they set that up?
Yeah, that's actually a great idea. Thank you for suggesting that. So last month, I had introduced the topic of, once this process with charter gets us back on air, what is it we want to be showing? And how does that content fit into, either promoting the new website, or how do they tie together? And, again, that was an introductory discussion last month, and the idea was to continue it this month. So, any thoughts you have? You're rereading the notes from the minutes.
I mean, it was, it's always got a scroll. It doesn't have a scroll at this point.
Historically, we have not had a scroll, so, but
Would that be a free thing?
I'm sure there's a way of accomplishing it, yes.
I mean, I like the idea of a scroll, especially if it says for a standard list of events, upcoming and past events. Please check the site,
Uh-huh.
like, as a constant.
Now, as a constant or as
Like a stock ticker.
every 5 minutes, scroll it?
Yeah,
'Cause if it's the same content and it's just
repeating, monotonous.
repeating, it gets
Yeah,
monotonous.
yeah, that's fine.
Block on the bottom, that,
Oh, like a constant little
yeah,
block right there.
visit www. for more.
Yeah. See what looks best, but I'm not opposed to either one, I mean, otherwise, it's just, you occasionally put up the calendar, right, or the schedule.
In dead air between programming, yes. So if something ends at
Yeah.
10:12, starts at 10, or at the hour, then there's 10 minutes of. But again, you have to be flipping through.
Yeah,
Like a website where you go there and you're presented with a session. This is more challenging because people can be popping in at any time,
Right.
and then it's like, you don't know when they're popping in to provide you content that's
right.
what they need. They're just happen to fall into the middle of something. So therefore, having it up there as a scroll or as a block permanently, you're catching all those people. But then for those that are actually watching something, having that is redundant.
Yeah, yeah,
And potentially is covering up
right.
part of,
Also seen things where like a large portion is the programming, but then you have,
The 1/3,
Yeah.
2/3 thing.
Yeah.
Right.
A list of things upcoming that might be on the programming, and then a block saying, go
Right.
to the website to find.
okay.
I like that because, I mean, if they're going to the channel, generally, unless they're just scrolling through, they came to see something, and they can always see it on the calendar. And it's just the most current on the channel.
Right.
So, I mean, I like something that constantly refers people in case they just pop in, because if you get stuck in like a 2-hour city council meeting,
Mhm.
what were you thinking?
I'm indifferent. So it sounds like we're willing to go down the path of using street real estate for other purposes. And therefore, I think I'll come back next month with maybe a couple examples of things that the current software we use can do.
Okay,
And then, we can react from there.
beautiful.
Okay? Good. That sounds like a good plan. And it looks like we have I see stuff on my screen in front of me, so.
this isn't Manistee.
So I will now turn it back over to you, Andy.
All right. So we have the initial mock-up ready to kind of review, get some feedback on, get some direction from there. In the email I had sent, it has a list of the pages and then kind of some features of those pages, but I'll kind of walk through that now. So the mock-up, initial mock-up is basically just a large image of desktop version and a mobile version of each layout. We have a handful of pages: homepage, the watch page, event page, single event, and the about, or just like a common page. And basically what we would be looking for is getting feedback on the overall design. Content, pictures, text can be swapped out real easily, but just the overall layout, look and feel, kind of getting that locked down, and then we'll be able to move on to the programming phase. So as I kind of go through here, we have the top banner bar with main link, submit an event, subscribe to updates, and sign in, so people can sign in and submit events, if create an account, submit events.
But, is the idea they would have to have an account to submit an event?
No, there's, when you submit an event, it's kind of tied to an email address, and during that phase, I guess by default, it's tied to an account. You know, when you're submitting an event, that account is created and tied to that email. Username would be the email address as well. They would get a link, an email with a link to change password at first login. And that way they could manage that event too, edit it, to submit for approval, or delete it, or, you know, anything like that. So it's kind of tied to that. If it needs to be elsewhere, like just completely anonymous, we can do that as well. But by default, that's kind of how event submission works.
And so if you hit submit an event, it's also gonna ask you if you wanna sign in?
Yeah,
on it too?
yep,
Okay.
yep. And basic user account, they'd be able to change their name, email, update their password, and that's basically about it. And then manage their events. So they could see the list of events they've submitted, make changes to those where, again, depending on their level, if they're pre-approved, then those changes get automatically published. Or if they're in that group that you need approval from administrator, it would get submitted to you. You would have to review it and then publish it. But either way, they have access to look at their list of events and kind of manage those events. Then we have the main navigation, watch now, events, about, and the search. So kind of this group here is just various ways they can get around the website. Kind of the key areas would be submitting an event and then searching throughout. And we kind of split, like the last meeting was talked about kind of making watch more prominent. So making sure the existing users, you know, feel comfortable with the website, can get to the YouTube streaming content and the video archive easy. So making sure that that's kind of prominent there. As we scroll down, and one thing I want to note too is when the actual site is built, there'll be some subtle animation and more color brought in with hover effects and all that. A lot of times the mock-up looks a little bit static because it doesn't really do much besides just being an image. But as we scroll, there'll be some subtle animation where things kind of appear, or hover effects on certain aspects where they might change color, background color, or link color. So a lot of that kind of comes a little bit more alive once the site is built. And we have a lot of the green brought in now, but the thought would be bringing in some more of that orange that's used in those sites mentioned previously throughout other Manistee, the city website, I believe it was the chamber website.
I like the green. It's seasonal.
Yeah.
Green, right?
Yeah.
Require more maintenance.
So yeah, so some of those colors will be brought in as you know, things are functioning. But as we scroll down, we see we have some main calls to action. Watch now or intended event, that would be getting to the main event page with all the upcoming events. And this image, typically what we do for something like this, we'll have a few selected images. The messaging will stay the same. There's only like 2% of people that will read a secondary message if messages rotate, so we usually kind of avoid that. But the images, you know, it gives a little, again, brings it alive a little bit if you have some movement with the images. So typically we'll have a few images there, so that'll rotate through there. This screen size too, don't pay too much attention to that. With the site being actually built out, all that's going to be fluid, so responsive to whatever screen size you're on. So for example, pulling it up on this laptop, you see some of these watch now and 10 events kind of cut off. The responsive site, the actual coded site, that'll be shrunk down depending on the screen size you're on. Again, just to make sure it's all easily accessible and visible no matter what device you're pulling it up on. But as we scroll down, we have a little bit of an introduction on the homepage about the community, the hub, and a call to action to submit an event, and then events happening soon. This section will kind of depend on how many upcoming events there are. Honestly, I'd envision having a little bit more than 4 by default, but that can be fluid too, as depending on the number of upcoming events there are. As far as on the homepage, top events happening soon, our thought there would be kind of more popular searched events, more popular visited events. So this might change depending on, I guess, how the site's used. This might be pre-selected events where an admin would go in and select a handful of events they want to promote, upcoming events they want to push or let people know about. We could fall back to most visited events, so the top events kind of, based on what other people are searching for or looking for. So this area right here might be a little fluid, but there'll be a lot of options in the back end of how to, what you want to display there. Could be specific categories, could be per event, could be top events. So
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
how do you want, or how do we want to provide him feedback on what he's talking about? Like, discuss it now, make a list? What do you guys think?
Probably a little of both. I mean, if there's something that
I don't.
pops into your head right now.
Yeah, no,
Now is the time to say it, but sometimes that can lead you down a rabbit hole.
Right.
Which is,
Right. I like the idea of like top searched events. I'm sure you'll have some logic for that, right?
Yeah,
Like, somebody searched this 10 times. Our bread is also buttered, right, by like the municipalities, like by the city. So like, they should have more weight. Can you weight things?
Yeah, it could be, honestly, we could make it however it needs to be. It could be weighted where this top event is only for municipalities. Municipalities could get kind of first come, and then if there's not enough, then pull in some community events. I mean, there's
Maybe like one.
wide variety.
Could it scroll? Could you do like?
Oh, yeah, yep.
So you, instead of 4, could you have like an arrow left and right?
Yeah,
to,
yep.
And you could have more?
Yeah.
listed that way?
Yeah.
I think what you really need to think of is, this isn't how people are gonna see this. They're gonna be looking on their phone.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be
One
more
after
of a
another.
scroll ribbon as opposed to scroll left and right, I'm assuming.
We could actually, and let's see, so on the mobile, right now we have them kind of condensed a little bit, so, there's 4 in a row here. And again, the thought would be depending on how you want to pull these events here. We could display more where it's just where they kind of keep scrolling, or clicking a button to load more, just kind of depending on how many events on the homepage need to be displayed and you want to be displayed. And honestly, scrolling on a phone isn't as of big of a deal as I think it used to be a concern, because it's kind of built, it's kind of built into phones. So I wouldn't be too concerned unless you're talking like a bunch of events where they have to scroll through, but even having a load more button, after a certain amount, where that way it gives them a choice to, they get to the bottom and they want to keep browsing, they can click load more, and then that gives them.
Can you put load more and search next to each other at the bottom? Like,
Well, that was gonna be a comment, is,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me, it's, no one wants to see, other than seeing, a handful of events that are recommended through whatever algorithm we come up with. Beyond that, no one wants to like go through every event. They wanna go to the search and the ability to hone in on what they're looking for. So instead of see more events, I think it's the same concept. It's,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's really like,
More
what are you looking
specific.
for? What are you looking for?
I mean, in a future state, you'd also like have like a paid thing where somebody could do featured event. Probably,
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
In some other like tourism websites we've built where similar type layout where you have multiple events, more so for like Chamber of Commerce where you have business listings and cards like that. And then if they're a featured business listing, they get pushed to the top. And it's shown in a way where people kind of know that they're featured too. So kind of there's a fine line between making that happen and also not confusing the, just general how it's used. If it's sort by alphabetical and all of a sudden this company that starts with the letter Z's in the top, as a user, why is that happening? So kind of walking that line there of why this is displayed the way it is, but also making that functional. But yeah, having featured events where certain ones get pulled first and shown first, and maybe that's a partner slot or a paid slot or however needs to be managed, but that's also possible. So
I have, so you were saying that you're hoping to tie in more visuals that are similar to the Chamber of Commerce and Tourism. I personally would, I think it's confusing enough. We already have so many different forums that we can go to, and then trying to decide which one I'm on.
yeah,
Like, I kind of feel like,
Maybe it should look different. What do you guys think?
so what is an example?
Oh, he was saying that he was gonna bring in more of the orange,
Uh-huh.
so it would look more similar. You don't think it matters?
I don't think it matters. I just think it just needs more. Whatever those colors are, and,
yeah, I just think it should be visually different from the Chamber and the Tourism Board. But yeah.
More is fine.
yeah.
The other thing I was thinking is that, I think the hub of Manistee County is our full name, so we can have our URL, but we can kind of, I think,
Do you agree we can just kind of
Well,
call it the
I
hub?
think at some point that's where branding and a logo comes in. That's probably what would be there, not the words that are currently there.
right, so it's like a little subscript, but like if it's being mentioned in the About section or something, we can just call it the hub.
Sure. Yeah.
But I mean, so as long as we're talking, right, you got this little atom thing that right there, right? I know that's just an example graphic, but what about the branding? Like, we never really,
Well, it's not part of the contract.
okay.
So that's really a separate discussion as
Okay.
to, I mean,
You would require us to provide you a graphic of some kind or
yeah,
the branding.
I think, yeah. My hope is that we can, branding is such a broad term, it can mean so many different things. But he's really gonna be picking colors and font styles and all of those things that are also part of branding as
Yeah.
part of the website. And then it's really, I think, the piece that is not, is a logo, and I think we can try, and if we fail, then there are avenues that can be pursued to accomplish that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and this graphic, for example, something we put together, it kind of ties in that hub spoke and also a little bit of the pins, individual pins kind of put around that was mentioned. So something kind of to tie things together visually without having full branding, just, and that's, this symbol here is used in a few other spots. But again, to kind of tie things together that we had talked about previously.
I mean, I like it especially if you put a lighthouse in the middle and like some scenes of Manistee in the little circles. I don't know how it'd look on the phone, but
And as I kind of scroll here, so the Watch Now page would be.
Go back to-
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So everything we just talked about with the events, I think there needs to be a section here that has the most recent top, most popular videos as well.
Okay, okay.
Because again, that, in the existing website, that's what's currently there.
Yeah, okay.
So I think, I don't want things to be too many clicks deep.
Yeah,
Um, it, it, it depends on the user. The first time you're coming here, what you want to look good and all of that stuff, but you want an explanation as to what is this.
yeah, yeah.
But if you come here once a week, that's completely superfluous, and you don't want that at all. So balancing those different use cases is challenging.
Yeah.
So
And one thing, and we had talked about.
So, I mean, so as it's currently laid out, you're talking to new users, but over time, the percentage of new users is very few, and it's really more of a ongoing. People are using this repeatedly type. So again, thinking through those different use cases and how
Yeah, yeah.
dealing with those two sets of users.
Yeah. And one thing we can do, and one thing that Amanda and I had talked about too, is kind of that there are new users versus existing, having the welcome information first, or the upcoming events first on the homepage there, or upcoming videos. So having that information right underneath the hero section there, and then below that having the about information. And then that leads into the about page where people can learn more.
You could dynamically do that based on whether they've previously logged in, whether they've previously been to the site, so you could.
Yeah, typically, we don't want to change a website kind of flip-flopping like that from a usability standpoint. If people don't inherently understand why things change, then it becomes confusing, and then it's harder to find things. It would be more like if maybe we look at analytics, like if this is the way it is at first, we see more people kind of not going to the, not funneling into the About Us page, not looking, to learn more about, then that could, would be bumped down. Or just right from the get-go, moving these up top, and again, just kind of looking at analytics and then judging based on what people are actually doing on the site to move things around and change things.
I mean, to me, like, put what we have to have, which is like the archive and the current stuff for the city, and then have the map or the schedule and the search, and then as you scroll down about, that makes sense to me, like, catch people.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys think.
That would be my inclination as well, but you do bring up good points, is that things like that are things you can measure as to what people are using and then adjust accordingly.
Yeah, and if we have the events first, and maybe there is, and we can even add like a short feedback form on the website too, and kind of use that as judgment of how things need to be changed or modified. Typically, when you launch a new website, it's good to look back at analytics and see what people are using, how they're using it, and where things can be improved and changed. So it's all very fluid. But yeah, I mean, I could see, the main push to have about information up top is because this is kind of a brand new endeavor, where we're taking on more community events, displaying that, so maybe giving some explanation right up front, and maybe that's something 6 months from now that gets bumped down.
Yeah.
So some.
I mean, I'm hoping to pull in a lot more people than what we have currently, because of the events. The people that are watching the archives, and I'm hoping that more people watch the archives as well, but I think this layout is great, and I also think maybe we could just put a reminder on our current website saying, hey, we're starting a new project. Get prepared for a change of information on our webpage.
I mean, right now, we're not trying to cater to the people, the small amount of people that we're currently catering to, right? We're trying to get a much larger group.
No, I think
No?
we are trying to cater to those people. That's,
Well, we are, but we also want more, the community to check in.
Two different audiences, like there's the group that's gonna watch the videos and maybe go to an event, and then there's the people who are just gonna go to events and search events
Yeah,
that don't care about the city council or the tree commission or the peg commission. Yeah. So like putting the calendar, the search prominently, like find an event, like where is it now, Andy? It's at the,
Yeah, there's,
oh, events. Yeah, right there, submit, search.
yeah.
And then, have you already built out the search?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. So search, and we'll have, and actually it's not in the design here, but there will be an advanced search too. So you can just search by keywords or click advanced. It's going to give you, you can click
Music,
specific categories or kind of break it down a little bit.
search is gonna cover both video and events, right?
Well, video to the extent, I mean, so all the videos on YouTube, we can pull that in from YouTube feeds, and it's gonna, I guess, kind of depend on how that interacts with YouTube. Right now on the current site, I think it's just an embed code from YouTube.
It's a little bit more, but.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
it's-
So depending on like video description on YouTube and,
We definitely want to need all of that.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I was curious, is it two different searches, or is it one search that's gonna?
Whatever we can pull,
The hard part is pulling all that metadata. From
yeah, exactly.
A source.
So if we can pull all the information from YouTube, then having it all searchable in one spot is, you know.
1,000-ish?
Yeah.
Do
More
you-
than 1,000, less than 2,000.
Do you happen to know if most or, I guess a portion of them have description and some information on YouTube?
There are no descriptions.
Okay,
It's just
okay.
all the titles.
I-
The titles are,
Okay,
for anything in the last 5 years, is all what the meeting is and the date. So-
okay. And then they are somewhat categorized in playlist, it looked like? Okay, so that helps too, kind of
Yes.
categorize things. So I mean, at the minimum, being able to pull videos from a category and by date, I think would be helpful. And that should be easy to grab. And then pulling some of that information from titles.
Yep.
I mean, like the search for the videos could be municipal. And I don't think we ever did the logic for that one. Municipal, city, township. Past, future. Because if there's a future event, there's no video, but there's gonna be a calendar event,
Right.
right? Past events won't have a calendar event. They'll just be, you'd like, eventually you'd go to past, city of Manistee, city council meeting, maybe a date, logic search, 2017, March, you don't know what it is, but that's there. And then it just links you to a URL and right to YouTube. Is that how it would work? I mean, you're in tech. I mean, like, it's gonna just event, I mean, because you couldn't go back and archive all that stuff, right? You'd have to it'd just have to be here's March 2017's tree commission.
I mean,
I mean, it could-
the thing we have to remember is, like any website, any effort like this, it's evolving. So
Okay.
from day one, it will be whatever
Yeah.
it is, and we will learn more
Okay,
from that.
I'm good with that.
Then, because it's practically impossible to foresee all of the possibilities and what's important, what's not, based on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different viewpoints. I mean, it's
I mean,
That's
maybe you
the
just go,
ball.
maybe the whole thing just links you back to YouTube and then you search on YouTube for what you want.
I mean, long-term, I'd like to get away from YouTube because there's no guarantee that Google's direction may not take that somewhere else. So, and obviously, they're using then our content to make money and monetize that they're not necessarily sharing
Yeah.
back with us. So there's all sorts of reasons that we may want our own platform for hosting video, and there are ones out there that,
Okay, I'm good with,
but given the current state of what the website was, YouTube was just, had so much more functionality, it's just like, okay, that's,
right. I'm good with seeing how it goes.
right, but I mean, what you described, I think, is a valid and interesting use case, and we've talked about that type of use in the past. So I think us having these conversations and Andy listening is just helpful as to how, when it comes down to him making decisions and at certain points knowing I should ask questions at this point because I heard
Yeah.
them say something or other, so.
Do you feel you have enough to go on for like building the search out? I mean, with the categories and things like that?
Yeah,
And how-
yeah.
In your past experience?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so, and
Okay.
something like this, there would be some back and forth too. So build something out, see what needs to be changed, tweak it, add it, edit it, and kind of go from there.
Definitely don't want being able to search a video from 2017 to delay getting this operational in its initial stages, for sure.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe the world rests on you.
All right.
May I ask him other questions about this, just in general?
Yep.
To my esteemed colleagues on the commission, Manistee County. Now, I know we talked about, like, you know, whatever the township is in North Mason County, or, you know, things over County Line Road. I mean, do we want to just keep it Manistee County, or like Manistee County area? I mean, like, just philosophically, because outside, the search would be outside Manistee County, how would that?
Yeah.
I mean, this gets back to when we were having the conversation of, you know, name.
Yeah.
I personally would just drop county. And the same conversation happens all the time at the Tourism Authority because it's the same
It's region.
challenges. There are things that don't fall within the county boundary that the Tourism Authority promotes, and you are easily within a day's, you know, a day activity to do.
But if we drop county, then a lot of people think, oh, it's just
It's a
Manistee
city.
City.
What about Manistee area?
Manistee area, maybe, but we don't cover the whole county necessarily either, so.
Thompsonville will put stuff in there, right? They would put things in this calendar, absolutely, like St. Ambrose, which I don't even think is in.
Buddington, Laka. I mean, it's just 20 minutes south of here. I think we
Right,
should.
right, so that's why I'm saying county says, I mean, county's very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Manistee isn't, because do you mean city, do you mean county, do you mean river, do you mean
So
area, do you
Manistee
mean
area?
forest? Area,
But we already have the hub of ManisteeCounty.com.
I don't think the URL matters as much
Okay.
as like the,
yes.
what you see when you pull up the site.
Okay, so we can, yeah.
I still.
And
use
if you
Manistee.
remember, I got two different URLs. We have ManisteeHub.com as well as the hub of Manistee County. So,
I like, I think that's important discussion, at least to get,
maybe it should be Manistee Area
I
Hub.
kind of like the Manistee area. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. That answers
It
that.
doesn't give us boundaries that we have to.
Yeah.
Right, right.
What's with labels anyways? You get that, Andy?
Yep. Yep, got that.
And I ask another question, and this is probably something when you start to do the search of how people would, like, sleigh bells is a big event. It's also the calendar's on the tourism board, the calendar's like on multiple places. But if they put it here and it's got like 2 days worth of events, would it just be, would there be a way to just like list them out in the thing, or would they have to put them in individually? I don't know how they do it, like.
Oh, well, like you're adding an event, you mean?
Right, but there's like 15 events on one day
Okay, okay.
for the same thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, so it depends how they want to enter it, right? It could be sleigh bell, a day, and just in the description list out everything that's happening in the day. Start time, end time could be, the beginning of the first event to
I think
the
that's
end.
fair.
Or if they want to add each individual thing, they would have the option to do that too,
Okay.
so it's kind of,
It's the inputter's choice.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then as an admin, you would have kind of final say of how you want that displayed.
Good.
So I interrupted you earlier because you were gonna go to subpages, so.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, that exhausts my questions on the splash page.
I just had another idea since you really want to, support the people that are currently using it. Maybe for a while, do you want to put the logo so people will have a visual representation of what they used to go to?
What
The
I
old
was
logo?
actually thinking was, maybe initially having, a banner that basically says, we're transitioning from, and, because nothing I've seen so far talks about what we're coming from. And I think when this switches over, there should be some explanation somewhere that talks about that.
That can
And-
also come off as like we're under maintenance currently.
It-
But if we had the logo, something that people would already visually be attached
But
to.
there needs to be more explanation. It needs to be more than just a logo. It needs to be explanation.
Welcome to the new Manistee Hub.
That could be a very brief introduction with a link to find out more information so that you're not overwhelmed. But
We do have, on the About page, we have a section kind of the history, where did it start? How does it work? Manistee TV, just a brief informational of kind of that, where it came from. So we did try to incorporate that at least on the About page, but maybe having some sort of call to action where it leads people into that a little bit more of.
when we switch over, people going to ManisteeTV.com will suddenly start going here.
Yeah, yeah.
And that will be very jarring I went to a completely unrelated website from their
Yeah.
perspective.
Okay, I totally understand that. However, if we're trying to get new people on the website and the first thing that they see is, this is our huge explanation about why.
Did you not listen? I said, we'll keep it really
Okay.
small with a link that takes you to a huger explanation, so it's not intrusive.
Would you like me to just stay quiet?
No.
Okay, it just seems like you're getting exasperated by almost everything I say, so that's.
I think, like initially, like, let's get it to like the 95% maybe, and then think about how the transition would look, because that would be an easy fix to put the logo and like whatever sentence or two thing would be,
Yeah.
yeah.
We could have something like a pop-up, or even a little less intrusive, something in the bottom section that might slide up just a little bit with the logo, and we're transitioning, learn more here, and that would link to like the About section. So lots of options there of how to, it could be like kind of a banner across the bottom section, similar to a pop-up. And then after so many months, that just gets taken away. So that way it's not a permanent fixture, but that kind of step between. And it could be as intrusive or intrusive as it needs to be, so.
And I do agree, it should be minimally intrusive, but provide something so that people aren't lost.
I like multiple pop-ups you have to X out of that when you do, it takes you to a commercial.
That you can never get out of.
Yeah.
Alright. So kind of, I'll jump back here. So kind of going through some of these sub-pages here. So the main landing page for Watch Us, similar to how the current website works, we have different layouts for those playlists, those YouTube playlists, or different sections for those YouTube playlists. So people would look for their playlist similar to how they do now, click that, and then that feed from YouTube would be there. And again, depending on how we can grab that information from YouTube, it's gonna depend on how much we can, how much we can grab from them. Might be similar where it's just a more or less an embed feed. If we can individually grab each one and create a post in the back end, that would be ideal, because then we can control a lot more with the search and adding additional metadata as things go on too. So that's the kind of high-end goal, and then depending on what we're allowed to do with YouTube is
Yep.
is more or less just there in bed, but similarly functioned as the website goes, where you would go to a specific playlist that you're looking for, and then you can view the main video, the latest video, and click on individual like a gallery.
See, I'm thinking different.
Okay.
I'm thinking much more in line with the event side of things.
Okay.
So it's really more mimicking, these are just they're just
Yeah.
events.
Yeah.
They just happen to have videos associated with them, and they're all past events. But as far as categorization and searching and finding and displaying initial ones, I think to me, it shouldn't be a different user interface. It should be the same. It's just you're covering a
Differently.
Yeah.
Makes it easier for you too, probably, and just, and to
maybe not.
and to maintain it too, because you're not having to like do a separate, like, it's one search string, right?
Yeah. So
Because what I'm seeing here is this is too much targeted after what it's currently in the website,
Mhm.
and not enough trying to bring it into the new paradigm.
yeah, and I think making it mirror the events, that's definitely ideal, because then again, kind of everything meshes together. And
'Cause I mean, in events, you've got categorization,
Mhm.
playlists are a categorization tool. You've search capabilities based on what attributes are exposed. So it's kind of all the same. It's just the end result happens to be the thumbnail of a video that you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
click to, versus a image and a description that you can click to.
And with each event, outside of the current YouTube events, each new community event, you'd have the option to add a video too. So kind of that same overlap there. So just kind of phasing out those YouTube feeds and everything kind of in the same look, feel, style as the event type cards like you had mentioned.
But that would be my thought process to pursue.
Yeah.
But
We, because you're searching past events for the videos, did we say we're gonna allow people to search past public events? I don't remember.
There was, we had talked about a per event option to have them archivable or not. So, some events would happen, and then once they happen, they're just off the website. Other events, you want to archive those and keep kind of that record, but it's a per event basis. You have the option to make it, archivable or just have them go away, so.
And do you think it's, should just be the public ones are archived, or like every event?
it's point, I
Don't care.
don't know. Until I kind of see it in action.
Yeah.
And that's something that can, evolve too. So, since it's basically just a switch per event, I mean, we could even make it where it's per category too. So by default, everything in this category is archived. So a little bit less work going, event by event, but, okay. So the watch now, I mean, this is just the initial landing page here. What we can do too is tweak this to kind of fit a little bit more towards those existing categories we had talked about in the sitemap. But essentially, even the updated layout could function similar to this. And then when you click an individual, what you're looking for here, that would just basically open up the kind of events layout filtered with that specific category. So this will be tweaked, but I mean, we could do a similar style where it's just kind of leading people a little bit different than originally, planned.
I like the images you pulled up. There's a lot of communal, people coming together.
Yeah.
Good job.
That all stock photos you found, or that's from the tourism?
I believe these are all from the Tourism Association, or the.
Ramsdale?
Yeah. So main events page, we have the more advanced filter here, and after talking today, maybe adding some additional options in here. I think we'll be doing that too. Could even have an option here where it has, if the event has a video or not, kind of looking at some of that. So this will evolve as well as we kind of go, but giving multiple filter options where you can search by keyword, today, this week, this month, this weekend, just giving some people some different options to look at some upcoming events, search for specific dates, and then some of the main categories that we broke down from the sitemap.
That's great.
I could see this exact page just showing the videos.
Yeah.
In reverse chronological order by default, that same calendar categories are
Yeah.
playlists, and it's same UI. It's
Yeah.
just one is
Pulling the
going forward in
videos.
time, and the other is going backward.
Yep, and that's essentially how we plan the archive.
Yep.
But now incorporating the videos, kind of those YouTube videos directly into events like this. And each category planned on color coding, and that's where you kind of see these different colors throughout, depending on the category. So again, adding a little bit variety of color there. If an event has an image, that image displays. If not, it just pulls a default image here based on the color that the category it's in.
But everybody has the ability to upload an image.
Yeah, yep. And during that upload process, I mean, typically you have to own that image to provide it. There'll be a checkbox on there saying I have the rights to this image, just to again cover you guys to make sure you are good to host this image on your website. And again, as an admin too, you'll have the final say of what shows and what doesn't show. So if think something needs to be edited or removed or changed in any way, you have that ability. So
Can you flip this over to phone?
yeah. Yep. So as we scroll down, this will be expandable. So by default, this filter bar will be closed, and then you can open it up if you're looking for something specific. And then again, the events as you scroll through. That's where the filter will really kind of, on mobile, will really kind of take place to give people that option to drill down to specifics of what they're looking for. But yeah, by default, this filter by will be closed to get right to the events, and then people will be able to still utilize that without having to scroll all the way through. And see more events will just load more, so it'll just keep going. So that way you don't have to, just keep scrolling and scrolling, but you have that control. The user has that control of what they're doing on the site.
Is there a reason not to just, as they scroll, automatically just fetch the next?
Yeah, we can do that. It's, I guess it depends how many events. If there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, might be an issue if someone's trying to get to the bottom, to see what's down there, but there's probably not a large base that cares too much to do that.
If you use Facebook or many things,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
that there is no bottom of the
Yeah,
page.
yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
try to
that's
go
true,
there,
that's true.
'cause You're never gonna get there.
Yeah, I think with this case, just having them automatically load is perfectly fine, so.
I mean, obviously, then you can't have important stuff after
Yeah,
the
yeah,
page
yeah.
because there's no way of getting there.
Yeah.
Just asking that question.
Yeah, and right now, the only thing, that we had planned would be have an event where you can submit,
Which you
but
already
that's
have at
also
the top.
accessible, through the top and will be in the menu too, so. I don't think that's an issue to continuously load.
Because if people are accustomed to endlessly scrolling,
Yeah,
let
yeah.
them do it on our website.
Yeah. If I get into a single event, so you would click on one of the events, you're taken here. A lot of this can change depending on what's added to the event. Might not have images. If that's the case, the content would be centered instead of the name and date off to the side. So all that will be taken into consideration too. We want it to look good no matter how an event is submitted. Whether it has an image, multiple images, has all the start date, start time, end time, the location, a third-party link where they could, click that to go to buy a ticket or whatever needs to happen there. Main event description. There'll be each additional kind of modules where you can people can add additional information. Maybe it's FAQs, additional gallery. There'll be a section for a video, an option for a video instead of an image. So lots of options for an event and lots of flexibility there. That's kind of where that module system that we build comes into play, where everything's very flexible. It doesn't have to all be filled out, but if it does, there's room for it, and it looks good no matter what's there. Typically, with the community events, having some minimal requirements, obviously the name of the event, the date, start time, end time, location, and all that's kind of a requirement to have an event. Typically, I'd recommend some sort of description being a requirement, just for a user standpoint, knowing, okay, a little bit about what this is about. So on that submit form, making the description required. But again, all that's flexible too. So, if we get into it and there's changes that need to be made, additional fields, different requirements, maybe things don't need to be required, all that it's very flexible, so.
Is there a URL, ability to put in a URL that takes you to the actual event?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
So each event will have its own URL, so people can share that specific URL.
But if the chamber has, they can put a link into their event somewhere in their description or something, right?
Oh, yeah, yep. So in this description here where they could click off and that would go to their site, or, yeah, when you're typing out that description, you're able to add links in there too, so.
And then flipping this over to the video side, something that you actually experimented with a couple of years ago, probably now. With AI, having those videos, first pulling out all of the verbal information into text,
Mhm.
and then having a short generated summary as a description of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
video. Obviously, then you do need individual back-end placeholders for each video to be storing that metadata, but
Yeah,
those are
yeah.
places I think that we would want to go.
Yeah, yeah. And that makes sense too. From a usability standpoint, or accessibility standpoint, having a summary of a video, any kind of movement is a good positive too. So, using that description as a video summary would be great, so. And that's something I can look at too, incorporating, pulling from YouTube, pulling those feeds from YouTube if it's possible to, because right now, I think by default, YouTube transcribes all the videos.
Right.
Being able to tie in, I don't know if they have like an API that you can access for that. I would assume so, but things are also locked down in some areas too, so.
Just so you know, I basically have a whole system that parallels YouTube
Okay, okay,
that's self-hosted
okay,
that has more flexibility to get at
okay,
than
all
the
right.
walled garden of YouTube.
Yeah,
But if we can do everything in YouTube, that's, probably preferable to start. But I've been toying with kind of this, what I kind of alluded to earlier, is like I don't like being tied to YouTube because
Yeah,
someday
yeah.
they could just say, you're using too much storage, go away.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
ah!
yeah, yeah.
So, well, not saying YouTube would go away.
Right, no,
But just for us, because,
Or start charging
we
more of the,
store many, many, many hours for very, very, very few views.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
from their perspective, it's probably not worth, so.
Just like you can subscribe, can you unsubscribe? Is that a default in your system?
to,
Unsubscribe from events, from email alerts and stuff?
oh, yeah, so with an account, you would be able to, subscribe to categories.
Yeah.
Kind of make some options there. And yeah, with that account, same thing, you could log in and,
So it generates an email or a text or whatever, and then you get and at the bottom there's an unsubscribe to, I'm guessing.
yeah, yep,
Okay.
yep. Yeah, any automated emails kind of have to, you have to have that unsubscribe option. At least, and that would be linking back to their account where they could log in and, uncheck whatever needs to be unchecked to unsubscribe to things.
And you said something there, and you kind of acknowledged, but I just want to make sure, is what sort of subscription notification options would there be?
Right out of the box, we could, it would be email, but I believe we had talked about before, I mean, the end possibilities are endless with that too. Could be text, could be, a newsletter tying into like MailChimp or more automation there. MailChimp has a lot of automation too, so if they sign up, it signs up to the MailChimp, and then maybe there's some periodic emails that get sent out to specific lists. So there's a lot of options there. By default, it's, you create an account and you can sign up for a category. So if something is added to a specific category, you would get an email saying, hey, a new event is posted, come check it out.
Have you done any experimentation with progressive web apps so that it's kind of more of a native app experience on a mobile device that could then tie into
Yeah,
notifications of the device itself?
a little bit.
That's kind of a
Yeah, there's always a, I guess, trade-off on how much is being used and like overall cost on maintaining that, and that's kind of where I guess text is kind of that middle ground there, where there's not tying it to push notifications and maintaining that whole aspect of it, whereas text notifications are a little bit simpler, easier to maintain, and the cost is kind of less than jumping into that. But again, yeah, lots of, even getting that far into to options too, so. because that's kind of, ideal, being able to just get a push notification directly on your phone. That's, but again, how often is that gonna be used? And so it's kind of that balancing what's used versus cost and all that, but, but there's definitely an option anyway, so.
One of the reasons I asked that is because when I load currently a video up, once that video is live, there are views within 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So through YouTube's notification
Yeah,
channels,
yeah.
It is interesting how that notifications are important.
Yeah.
Because people, I've said this many times before, people, to go find information, you have to first think about it. Whereas if it's just coming to you, it's so much more accessible.
Yeah.
And notifications are a key part of that.
Is that part of the, is that an extra cost, or that's part of the contract initially? I'm not.
Well, I think email and text, it's just going beyond that is.
Okay.
As I scroll through, so about would be kind of that simple general page. This one is information about the hub.
Yep.
So a little bit mission. This is kind of the hub, the visual that you had mentioned, Alyssa. We wanted to tie something like that together, but maybe a little bit more generic instead of listing specific partners or individuals, mainly because maintaining that, there's an extra layer there where this is a little bit more generic and, brings in who is part of the hub without naming specifics and then again having to update that constantly. And there can be a community partnership, maybe there's additional information with specific individuals or organizations, but using this graphic or this layout in some other key areas of the site's possible too. It's just kind of again that balance between what you need to maintain and having something there.
Yeah, I think the main reason why I wanted something that represented this was because if some people might consider this redundant, yet another calendar I need to sign up for,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. And being able to say like, you can just check here.
One-stop shop.
Yeah.
No more Facebook, no more going to there's so many, anybody you tell this idea to, they're like, that's genius because everything's so disjointed.
It's a full-time job here. You have to check the Ramsdale calendar. You have to check the West Shore College calendar. It's just constant.
Yeah.
Or you have to go to Facebook, and a lot of people are just not liking Facebook these days. So.
Yeah.
And I'm open to any criticism about this. I just wanted something. So, yeah.
I like it. Especially when you're like a submitter, because, I don't know if the Model House has a museum, for example, in wherever that is, Brethren? Calava. I think they do,
Yeah.
right? But there's nothing there for me, but clearly there is, right? You're we'll have to get some cards, and every time you go around to a place, you give them a card and say, hey, do you have a place where you can submit your events?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of it tells the story.
Yeah.
Definitely, because that people won't know that it's there.
Yeah.
Is that the end of the tour?
Yeah, and then this just circles back to mobile and then circles back to the homepage. So with that email, essentially it kind of broke down, those individual pages and, kind of the key features there. Main website, once it's program, there'll be some more animation a little bit, you know, and bringing in some more color, you know, on rollovers and that. So it'll look more lively than it does as a static image is kind of where that is. But, and the email has those links, to homepage, mobile. You can also just click through like a slideshow though too, so, as you're reviewing. But yeah, next steps would be getting any feedback, changes you'd like to see, questions, and kind of going from there. The next phase would be the programming phase. Like I said, imagery and even, you know, text content isn't a big deal. We can always swap that out later on. But just getting a good, I guess, kind of working that overall look and feel, kind of getting that finalized before we get into the design phase or programming phase. So that's kind of the next step there. So.
I mean, I feel you got pretty good feedback today.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Being that you're a web dude, you know. And initially, like a long time ago, we talked about doing it in phases where it would be city, but like he's building it in a way that it's ready to go for everybody to populate, right? Which I like 0 to 100. But that also brings up the question of the administration. Like people who submit an event want to, I mean, why isn't, they want to see their event posted, right? Like immediately, but is there a human in the loop? Like we're having to approve each one? Or like, can anybody?
Yeah, so with that, you know, creating user accounts will need probably a list of pre-approved, whether that's talking with those individuals and creating an account for them and letting them know they have this account on the site, and then those pre-approved individuals, once they post it, it goes live. So it's kind of those trusted individuals, you know, that what they post is okay. But yeah, as far as general community, those would need to be looked at and approved by an administrator.
Okay. So like the initial thing, right? Like the initial submission, if the library submits it, can we like click a box that says always approve?
Yeah.
Okay.
So library would have their account, and that account, it would be tied to an account.
So
So
the first time they do it, just always approve. And then if it's the whatever pub that has a music event, it would require like, we'll get back to you within, we'll approve your event or
Yeah,
have
yep,
questions within
yep.
a certain number of hours or something like that.
yeah, and you would get, like, admin would get notification by email, and then it would just stay pending until you logged in, approved it, and then it would go live.
So given the fact that it's going from 0 to 100, and I think it will get traction quickly, like we would probably have to discuss how the administration works. So like, you know, it's either us or like it's somebody else, you know, how that would work, you know.
Yeah.
So that's not your problem, right?
And during, you know, before we go live, we set up a training session too, so kind of walking through the administration side, how to manage those events, you know, what the notifications look like, all that, so.
So you need a logo?
We will
Yeah.
sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So, do we want to work on the logo, or
Yes, I think,
are we looking for somebody to work on it?
well, we have no budget assigned to it, so for right now, doesn't mean we can't change that,
I have a
but,
couple of things I can send.
Do it.
okay.
And then we decided the hub of Manistee, or the hub Manistee area or something like that. Okay, I think. You got your notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The hub of Manistee area is what it sounded like to.
That doesn't sound right. It's almost like it should then be Manistee Area Hub,
Okay.
but I like the hub.
Yeah.
So I work with it.
Okay.
Greater.
Anything else?
Manistee area, the hub of the Manistee area? Nothing else on my end.
Okay, then. I think that actually takes us unless you've got any final comments?
Nope, that's it. That email kind of, again, summarizes this, and then next steps would just be reviewing. If you had any other final feedback, maybe in the next, couple weeks, let me know, and then we'll make changes based on notes and any other feedback and go from there, so.
Okay. Takes us to the end of our agenda. Do you have anything else? Lisa, do you have anything else?
Nope.
Then I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 7:22.